talking about a little bit more about what's happening with Virtually Expo. I believe we got the chat bot to work. There is 1 month, 2 weeks, and 6 days to go until Friday, the 21st of August. So what have we? Where are we up to? You shared an update on our Facebook page earlier this week, Richard. Went through a little bits and pieces. Just let us know what's happening. What's the next big step we're getting to?
Right. Well, from today onwards, we're going to be talking about pretty much everything we can do about the expos. We've got a fair amount of it now in place. It's taken 2 or 3 months to get to this stage of sort of knowing how we're going to do things. And I think we now feel we can show more of it as we roll forward. So are we going to share the screen, or what's the?
Yeah. Let's turn over. Let me. So we'll transition over to the UK Games Expo site. There we go. So we can see that now. So you can head here as well, ukgamesexpo.co.uk, and it's the lovely Virtually Expo website, as it has taken over everything.
And gradually over the next few weeks, there'll be more changes. On the actual weekend itself, there'll be the whole front bit there will be taken over by a sort of stages for sort of live streaming from, which we'll convert across to. But you can see our sponsors that are sponsoring the virtual show. And thanks to them for helping with that, because it's made it possible for us to get all the coding done to make it happen. You can right now join our Discord channel, which there's a link there on the front page of the site. You have to be logged into the Expo account.
All right, let me scroll back up and make sure I'm logged in. So yeah, so up here on the page, you can see it says my name, Millie Lavelle, which means I'm logged in. It's really easy to set up an account. You just need an email address. You put some stuff in. It'll set you up straight away. Confirms that you've set up an account. There's nothing kind of like anything other than just give us an email. And then we never use your email for evil purposes either. We only use it for UK Games Expo.
No, we don't. Purposes. We don't sell it to all the people that tell you we're selling it to them.
Yeah, we don't do.
We honestly haven't got 35,000 registered email accounts to sell to you.
None
so
at all.
If you're approached by someone offering to buy it, don't buy it.
Don't go there.
Delete.
But yeah, we only use it. We only use it for good. So once I'm logged in on this, I can scroll down to this, join the Virtually Expo community. I click on that, and it's going to take me to a Discord server. So there we go. It's going to access my username. It's going to join some servers. It's going to join some DMs. Unfortunately, we're not going to go out and solve a mystery with Scooby and the gang.
Working on that.
Yeah, we can work on that. I'm sure there's I think there was a kids RPG game that was you were the Scoobies in the gang, but one year, wasn't there? I'm pretty sure. I remember the minis from it. I remember that. I'm going to authorize that because I would like to join the UK Games Expo server. There we go. And here we are. I'm in the welcome bit. So what have we got here? Welcome to the Virtually Expo Discord. This is the hub of our Virtually Expo community. Some rules: be considerate, no swearing, be excellent to each other, and life is better when you're playing together. If you have any questions, we can @ staff, and we can see over here. Oh, look, it looks like Richard Denning is on the Discord. John, the RPG manager, and Kate, who is also in our wonderful chat. They're there. We've got a couple of volunteers around, and then we've got some folks who are already here, one of them being the UK Games Expo bot. We'll get to that in a bit. So yeah, some rules, a little bit of info about the open gaming, and then it wouldn't be the expo without a queue. We're British. We love queuing. It's our favourite thing to do after board games. So we can see that if we go into open gaming, you can see that some folks have been trying to arrange some board games. If you can submit your own requests looking for a game and that kind of stuff. You can see I joined yesterday afternoon, and I didn't bring pizza, but Ed did. There we go. It's going to show everybody else coming along. And then we've got the queue. So this is the fun thing. You do have to be logged in through the UK Games Expo account to do this. So if you just come in through another link, it won't. But if we go QUEUE, make sure I can spell. I'm first in the queue. I'm at the front of the line. And I've reached the front of the queue and counts to 3. 3 is the number. Yesterday I got crushed under an avalanche of pineapples, and there have been some wonderful, wonderful games that have been bought at the front of the queue. There has been some hard work done on this wonderful little bot that puts us people in the queue. So you can join the queue as well. What is Kate? Horseshoe Flux for 28.84, Kate. Are you buying that? Are you taking that with you? So yeah, you can see the show floor has got a welcome, open gaming in the queue. There are quite a few lovely voice channels, so you can chat. So when we were talking about Tabletopia earlier, you can then hop into one of the open gaming channels, and while you're playing, here we go. Here's my game of Great Fire of London, where I'm going to just fling stuff around because I'm a bad board game player. Make a mess of Richard's beautiful game, and then we can join one of the voice chats, so we can have a good chat, and you can tell me off for making a big old mess. So those are the channels available now.
But there will be quite a few more coming online as we get nearer the show, including things that will support the publisher designer environment and playtest and other areas like that. So as we get closer, we'll some of those will be accessed by having the right permissions that you've been given the access to those for the purposes of doing whatever you're doing in it.
So there's going to be like private channels, so you can go through some of the publisher designer stuff if that's what you're interested in, right?
That's it. Yeah, that's the plan. Yes, and so at the moment on the main website, the people the publishers, designers can submit their designs. There's still going to be speed dating happening, which will be running virtually through a Zoom room, and they'll be able to present their designs to publishers, and who knows, one of those might get picked and go forward for publication in a year or two. So we're still intending to do quite a bit of that. There's going to certainly be playtest occurring. We're just talking to the Playtest UK people about how that's exactly going to function, but there are rooms in there as well where they can potentially show and talk about their games. So that side of things will occur as well. So shall we have a look at the site again?
Yeah. So we're going to go back to the UK Games Expo website. Let's back onto the main page. So we've had a look at this nice link, join the Virtually Expo Discord community, just underneath the sponsors. It's going to tell us a little bit more about the things we're going to use. So we've already covered Discord. We've already found the Twitch. Zoom we just mentioned, which I think everybody's mum and gran are now absolutely experts in Zooming. Some stuff will go on YouTube as well. We cover a little bit about what's online at Tabletopia. We're going to have a trade hall as well, aren't we?
We are, yes, indeed. In fact, you're not linked to an exhibitor, are you yourself?
I am not. No, this account I'm using right now is exactly what a guest to Expo will see. So we didn't want to complicate it too much.
Give me. Well, we're going to get them into we can show them quickly the hall. Maybe shall we do that?
Yes. Or, if you send me a secret link, I will.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to log in as if you were a exhibitor.
Scoops.
Hang on. So just let me tell you, was that seminars one was the one you were using, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes. So if you've got an idea for a seminar, you can email me, seminars@ukgamesexpo.co.uk. Tell me all about it. The thing I'm finding with Virtually Expo is it's don't need quite so much sort of lead time as I would with real life seminars. There is a lot of room juggling and things like that. But with the Virtually Expo, I find I can slot things in and move things around much easier. We have some wonderful things. So if you got back up to your login, and click on it at the top there, the middle bit. Yep, there we go. So I've got.
And if you can scroll down and log out and log back in again.
Okay.
So down at the bottom, that log outy button, hit that and log back in again.
Oof.
As you remember a password, folks.
I did. I remembered it.
So you are now Medusa Games. Okay.
Oh, excellent.
Welcome to the team. If you click on the stands button.
Over here.
Yeah.
There we go. Stand V74. Click on this one.
That's it. And then click on that thing there, the V74. And hit on the preview stand.
Let's have a look. Here's our stand. There we go. So we've got our nice Medusa Games logo at the top. We've picked 3 categories that we're in. We're board games, card games, and family games. Are there more options for that? Is that
yes? There are a number of others. There's things like role-playing games, miniatures, what is it called? Clothing items, comics. There's a variety of other ones as well. So you can, from this, and we'll go to the main hall in a minute, you can, from these pages, exhibitors will be able to configure this gradually with more stuff on here, including images now. And they'll be able to click on the Twitch stream or Discord and go and chat to, if they clicked on that, they'd go through to the Medusa Discord channel.
Oh, I've been invited to the Medusa Discord channel. I will accept that invite. Continue to Discord. There we go. So now I can come and arrange a game, a demo of Medusa Games, and that's linked from your. If I can hopefully click back, that's linked from your exhibitors. So it doesn't have to just link to the Expo Discord or if you have one for your community, your company, you can then link from your exhibitor stand to your tribe on Discord then.
So the idea is that people can do exactly that. They can go on there, they'll be able then to talk or text exhibitors, they'll be able to say, hey, I've got a demonstration of whatever, and that can be arranged through Tabletopia, for example. And also if the exhibitor is doing a Twitch demonstration of something, then you can view it on there. If you scroll down a minute on that screen.
So we've got some more links and then an event.
An event. So I'll put this on as just test event as it were. But basically, the idea is that exhibitors can put on events through the whole weekend, which will also be visible not just within this stand view, but also in an exhibitor events thing and on the front page, where upcoming events will be visible as well. So if the people fancied watching the demonstration of the Two Fire expansion of Great Fire, they would just click on that and it would take you through to the Twitch stream. It's actually just a link to the Twitch stream. The idea is it shows a schedule and a bit of an idea about what is coming up on there. Yeah.
Excellent.
So these allows, and there's also, you'll notice a YouTube link that above there, the bottom of the links thing.
Yeah.
So that goes through to the YouTube channel. So the idea is that even if we're not manning our Discord channel or we're not on Twitch at that time, they can still watch a video maybe. The online shop will just go through to our online shop. So if they're wanting to buy anything, that's how they would do it. And I imagine different exhibitors will come up with all sorts of clever and inventive ways. In fact, if you go right to the top of the page, I'll show you a couple of other things.
Yeah.
Okay, click on the back arrow. We're going to change this to back to hall, I think, is because it's. But if you click on that back thing just above where it says Medusa Games.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm back to stands. Have I gone to the wrong
sorry.
place?
Go back into the stand, the preview mode.
Okay.
Yeah, and then go back to preview stand. And where it says back above the word Medusa Games, it should take you to the hall. Yeah, click there. Yeah.
Ooh. This is exciting. So this is
the hall. This is the trade hall.
Virtual trade hall.
Yeah. Sponsors up there with their stands, and then you'll get to all the other exhibitors.
Oh, and this is where those 3 things we picked on Medusas. This is where that kind of comes into play, isn't it? Because we can see there under like Alicat, they've got board games clicked, and then Cubicle 7, they've got role playing games clicked. Whereas Phase Shift and Cosmos have clicked board games, games publishers, and family games. So they've got a couple of different. So that's where it all sort of.
And they can fiddle around with this and change it right through to the show. The colours, the outline, the stand is their primary category. So orange is board games, pink I think is role playing games. Can't remember what blue is, but basically there's different categories and things. Sci-fi is black and things. So it just helps to sort of at a glance see the primary category that exhibitor is, and then if you click on any of these stands, they'll take you through. There's also the way this is organised, by the way, is that the sponsors come at the top, major sponsors, associate
Back up
sponsors,
here.
then any supporting sponsors would come up after that. But then it would organise everybody else in a random order. This is to stop this is to stop the sort of thing you see at the Edinburgh Fringe, where you get acts that are called a comedy or something.
Yes, yeah, okay.
So
yeah,
they're first in the catalogue.
Yeah.
So these are literally, you'll notice they're not alphabetical, deliberately so. They're meant to look like a trade hall would be, actually, because
Yeah, well, you do that giant game of Tetris to fit everybody around in real life, don't you?
That's right. So, and also this means that now it does do some ordering. If you've got an event coming up and thinking the next half an hour, then it will put you up the top of this aisle. Yeah. So Medusa was actually at the top of the aisle simply because I got a test event on. Yeah. But if other exhibitors had things coming up, Medusa might be further down at that time, and other people would be further up, and so on. Now, there's also at the top of the screen.
Let's quickly run across the hall. I'm exhausted now.
Yeah, that's it. Run all the way up the aisle. And now the reason it's one aisle like this is, of course, we're thinking about this has got to fit on the phone or a tablet. Oh, I've just seen the best question there. No, the random order will change on refresh, I believe. So every time somebody goes into the hall,
should I try it?
Yeah, refresh it. I don't know whether if you do it now, you could try it and see. But I'm not sure. Well, it won't alter. I don't.
There we go. Yeah, we've had some stuff change around. Yeah.
Yeah, so you may well find even the sponsors move around. It's all randomised within their block, if you like. So it is random every time somebody refreshes. So every new person coming in will see a slightly different view. So now we could have fixed it, but the trouble then is who's at the top, who's at the bottom, etc. So it just seemed to be a fairer way of doing it. And the further up, the right at the top, the search functions.
Oh yeah, so we've got a search and we've got a filter.
Yep. So if you try the search and you type in,
who's in the chat right now? I've seen Wotan Games. Should we try that?
Yeah.
No, we've not set up our stand yet. I'm sorry.
Okay, well they're not. So it's not there.
Who else? We'll search for Medusa.
Yeah.
There we go. I found us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I've lost us. I'm being silly. And then I click on that, and we're back to that stand.
Yeah. Now the other way of doing it is to click on the filter, and the filter can choose by those categories we had earlier.
All right.
You were asking earlier about the number of categories. So these are the categories we've got at the moment, which will probably be, we felt, were covered the bulk of everyone in terms of exhibitors, pretty much.
I am a massive role-playing fan, so let's have a look at what role-playing games I can have a look at. Oh, there's plenty there. Look at them already set up. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. And if we just close that filter a moment, we can see.
Now, fine at this stage, because we're 2 months off show, of course, not people, sometimes they've just gone in and put a category on and put a link or two in. And there's, this is why we're not releasing this hall map yet until we get close to the show, to give exhibitors a chance to make them all their stands nice and shiny before they want everyone looking at it. But you get an idea from that.
Yeah, that's really exciting. So Cosmos Games have asked, does it work for any of the 3 categories or just the main one? So the
search will work off the 3 categories. So it'll, whichever category you put in your 3 categories, if you search, you should show up under any of those. I believe whereas the colour is your primary category.
So we're a orange stand because first of all we've picked board games.
Indeed.
We're talking about Medusa, but we should also show up. Medusa should also show up in
cardboard or family. I think we put down
card games. Yeah, I see that. And if we get rid of card games and then go back and click family games, there they are as well. Yeah, so it works for all 3 of the things, and it'll stay on until we clear all. In which case, then we return back to the giant trade hall.
Mm-hmm. That's that. So that'll be accessible from the front page. There'll be a hall button, and also via searching from events screens and things like that. So I figure some people might wander into the stand onto the site just wanting to know what's on in the next hour that I can do. Other people will be more likely to be browsing around, just having a look and explore and So
just like the real trade hall, like the
just like the
physical
real trade hall,
Yeah.
just like the real show and things like that. So
I like that it brings up random things, because I was forever getting like wandering around Expo and bumping into really cool little stalls that if I was just being very focused on getting somewhere, I'd never have found these amazing.
And, the two blues. I mean, we may look at these colours a little bit. They might tweak a little through to the show. I mean, there's so there's a question about there's two blue colours, and they are. I think one's retail and one's sort of general games publisher.
Yeah, there's like this blue colour here over that I'm just hovering on now for a games retailer, and then over here there's like a turquoise one for games publisher. But then they're not fixed because we've still got folks coding.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of work still to be done on all of this, for the next 6 weeks, and some of this is a matter of us getting the basic functions on and then adding a bit more and seeing what we can actually manage to do between now and the show and what we can afford to put on as well. Because the coding's not cheap, but thanks to the sponsors, we've obviously got a bit of a budget specifically for this enterprise, so that's good, which means of course we can do, and we are doing the show essentially free. The exhibitors who had a stand or past exhibitors with us are all having their stands. There's obviously the sponsors are helping us with something, but they're in terms of fees and funds and things. But visitors as well, there aren't any charges for them. Their only nominal fees will be for, I think, role-playing games. Quite a low fee for that, but otherwise everything else is pretty free. They're live entertainment events, which we could probably show. Should we bring up the events page?
Yeah, just before we dive over to that, we've had another question. What will happen with people who've booked a joint stall? Can they now split into two separate stalls? Will there be like a diagonal cut between the stalls? What happens there?
No, basically just get in touch with me, and what I will do is set you up as probably two stand. You could be one stand if you wanted, and you could have the links for both of you on the same stand, but it probably makes sense to have two stands, doesn't it? Now they won't therefore be in proximity in the hall, because the randomized thing will just put people all over the place. So if you wanted them to be on one stand so that everything's accessible, then it would have to be one stand. But you could have there isn't a limit to the number of links you can have on there, so you could have both exhibitors on there. But personally, I think you're probably better having a focus for one and a focus for the other, maybe. But depends how you want to do it. So in terms of that,
it's entirely up to the exhibitors. Then all they need to do is work out what's best for them over the weekend. I mean, there got to be some bonuses to having a shared stall that are the same as being a shared stall stand at physical expo, as I keep differentiating it. Like, you only need a small number of people to keep a virtual stand operational. So if you're going to share that with someone, you could have split the load kind of thing.
So one Discord link, maybe.
Yeah. And in terms of like the physical people, the real people behind the keyboards, you only need less of that. So if you are two small companies and you're going to split the load and help demo each other's games, I guess that kind of works. But then the same sort of idea, if you want to split off, you might need two separate people to do that.
Yeah, I think so. There was a question there I saw just about do the events all have to be live, or could they be, say, a video? There's no particular reason why it couldn't be. If you've done a presentation video of a particular game that you want to show, that could be something that you just put out at that time on the link.
Yeah, there was a link on the Medusa stand to the 2-player demo for Fire of London, wasn't there? So you could just go straight to the YouTube and watch that. I mean, I can't imagine everybody being awake, because the other beauty of Virtually Expo is it's available in all time zones all the time.
Yep.
Whereas we'd probably all fall over and on the floor in the NEC if we had to keep it open for 24 hours, despite the petitions for the open gaming to do so. But yeah, Virtually Expo can do the 24-hour much easier. Another question I saw: do most publishers have their own Discord channel set up? I guess that's one of the things that they need to ask themselves.
Yeah. We what we are doing essentially, the Expo website, the Virtually Expo website is a hub. It's just a point from which you would jump off to whatever environment is providing these services. So we are not, apart from our own Discord channels, which we're manning there, which we may do things like the publisher designer activities may occur in that, maybe Bez is going to be involved in, and others as well. Those will be, we probably envisage happening within our Discord channels. But for all the other stuff, all the exhibitors and everything else, they effectively, with the expectation is that they would have to set up their own Discord channels, Twitch or Facebook. So they've got to kind of work out what tech level are they happy at, and some of this is easier to do than others, and at the basic line you just need a probably information and a link to your shop, and that could be it. That's maybe all you want to do, but probably you want to have a think about, do you want to allow some interactivity, some sort of live contact, some demos where people can play a game? How are you going to do that? So you need to look at the Tabletopia environment, a webcam pointed at your game on a Zoom room or something. There's different ways it could be done, and I think that's something which the exhibitors will have to have a think about. And if they go on our website under how it works in exhibiting, there are some links there and suggestions and help, hopefully, to give some hints they might find useful.
Okay, well, yeah, let's have a quick look at that. So we're back. All we've done is come to the main page for ukgamesexpo.co.uk, Virtually Expo, and then down here under how it works, just a little drop down here. So we've got keeping you safe. We've got a bit Discord and Twitch and Zoom and Tabletopia help, board game arena help, RPGs online, and then just at the end there is exhibiting. So let's have a click on that. So we've got a lot of stuff that we can read through at our own pace, but I know you've been making some live stream game demos, and they're on the Medusa YouTube, are they?
Yes, I think so. Yes, that's where we're hosting those. Yeah.
So that was like we were talking earlier about adding Great Fire London, adding your own games to Tabletopia. This is some of these videos are you actually doing some of them as well and over there as well. So if somebody wants a little bit of info on that, there's a configuring a virtual stand. You can just see in there the little picture of how it would look on a phone or a mobile device, and then more information here. How do I get access to my exhibitor portal? How can I find more info? How do I submit an exhibitor event? And all the help pages you can need there. And then obviously, like with Real Expo, like with Physical Expo, if you're absolutely flummoxed, you are welcome to contact us. We don't bite, or those of us who do bite don't get access to emails. But yeah, we're here for you.
Just fire off an email and we'll try and answer as best as we can. We might forward you to this page if the answer's here, but we'll try and answer if we can.
And there's loads of stuff on here already. Streaming a game demo, all that kind of stuff. So the question, I think, bringing it back, is if you don't need a Discord page, a Discord channel or server, you don't need a Twitch stream. It's just how much you can do. And then the other side of this is don't wait. There's only 6 weeks until Virtually Expo. Don't wait for 6 weeks before you get involved. There is a reason why we're practicing Twitch right now, folks. There's by 6 weeks' time, hopefully I will have cracked the when you go live, people can hear you issue. And things like the Discord and the Twitch and the extra things we're adding on, people who attend, like the guests at Virtually Expo, will be very forgiving about this. Very forgiving, as you folks have with the starts of our streams. So I don't think it's something you should get too stressed or panicked about. I think it's a thing just to have a practice and a play and enjoy, and then get into a groove with it. And then afterwards, you've got this extra tool under your belt to go forwards with. Should we? Yes, indeed, Bez. It's a brave new world, and we're doing this all together. Should we have a look at some of the events that are already in Virtually Expos? There we go. So we're back on the website. If we come to this drop down here, there's two things we can do here. We can have a look at events that are already submitted, or we can submit an event to run ourselves. These aren't exhibitor events, are they? There's a difference between exhibitor events and guest events.
And in fact, I think if you go into that link for running an event, it breaks it down under the FAQs and things at the bottom. There's a whole load of information, but basically it talks about exhibitors running things and so on. But basically, if you're an exhibitor, you should probably run an event on your stand, which you do through your exhibitor portal. You just do, it's another one of the links below the stands tab. There was another one called manage events. That's how you submit your events. They'll be on your stand. These events are supposed to be sort of more like tournaments, for 40, 30 players or something like that to play things in, live entertainment events, perhaps things like seminars and workshops and things like that. So that's what these are for. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So should we have a look? Which is I know there's some in here. So we'll start with seminars because I know what's in this content. So these are like we would have at physical expo. Seminars and events you can just turn up. So you can see they're sort of sorted and timed and that kind of stuff. You just click on, which one should we click on? Well, as you're in the chat, Bez, why don't we have a look at your seminar? So brings you to, which is exactly the same kind of page that we would have had had this not been just virtual. How to join? Well, it's going to be on the UK Games Expo Twitch stream and that kind of stuff. So you just need to click in there at the right time. And then there's some help for you on how to watch Twitch, which you folks already know because you've done it. But if you're watching on the YouTube VOD, on the video on demand, all how to get online and how to do that. Come back up. Should we have a look at the live shows?
Yep.
Yeah. So the same very welcome and familiar faces cropping up here. We've got Nightmare Live, which is going to be on various times. So I want to know what I can watch on Friday evening, and I just need to click the button and wiggle some times around, I think. And
yes, I believe. Yeah. I think it should do. I'm trying to remember how that. Oh, there you go. Filter it. You hit the filter button, I think, at the bottom.
And then, there we go. Filter that. So what can I watch on Friday? Oh, there we go. So we've got some Nightmare Live, some Star Trek versus Star Wars, Jolly Boat, Bards Against Humanity, and The Dark Room. How are these going to be accessed? What is the difference with these then?
Okay, so if you click on Nightmare Live, find out more there. I think you'll find that it's going to be running on his Facebook page. So down at the bottom there, how to join. So literally at the moment, that just links through to his Facebook page. So if you click on it now, it would be whatever is on his page at the moment. But a join button will come up at I think once we go live with a lot of these things, there'll also be like an easier to spot join button at the top. So technically, a lot of these links will take people through to their Twitch streams or their Facebook pages or whatever else they're using to normally broadcast. So it isn't just specific to that event, but it's also how you link onto it. So his will be run on that. There's no charge. You just go through to it. They have donations and subscription links. So if you like the show, chuck them a few quid or something.
So there's an opportunity.
It works like the Fringe, basically, free Fringe type approach. Yeah. Yeah.
So if you've always thought I really want to go to Nightmare Live, but I'm never sure if I'm going to like it, because we always have that kind of like you've only got so many hours in an expo to get to everything, and pennies can be precious when you absolutely need the collector's edition of Bob Ross Guitar Hero that I got in the bring and buy in the queue on the Discord the other day. Now's a chance to see them, and if you do like it, you can subscribe or like or tip and that kind of stuff with them. That's the plan, isn't it?
That's the idea. So we had quite a conversation in the early stages of this about do we ticket it like we would do normally, but but a lot of the time that created issues because it's actually quite difficult to firewall these events down and things. And so in the end, they said, well, they much prefer these events are running. I mean, John Robertson's on practically every day doing one show or another, isn't he? He's the very, very prolific producer of stuff at the moment, and they do them all for free, but then they can take subscriptions and donations and things, and that's seems to be a good way to do it, really. And I think they hope to build up followings and get a bit of income along the way. And occasionally they'll do these things as charity things as well. Back in, was it March or April? John did a 48-hour darkroom.
He did a 48-hour darkroom, and I know recently he's also done another charity one for I think it was Women's Aid that he did as well.
That's right.
Big, yeah, absolutely awesome stuff. I've clicked back here, and now we've arrived in some of the RPGs. So you can see, it's a little bit of everything actually. We've just gone back to the hook because there's a wonderful test.
Yeah, so this is all the events actually. I think this is so there is you can just have everything showing literally. So you've got like live events, you've got RPGs, you've got board game tournaments, and everything's all higgledy-piggledy in here if you want to just look through everything. But that's the idea of the filter, is to give you some control over what sort of thing do I want to see. Or you can go in through the menus for board games only, live events only, whatever. Just depends how you find it easiest to access this stuff. So you could filter it there on the top right by type of thing, by event, by day. Just how easy is it to find things. The RPG is the only ones having a sort of small fee, a couple of pounds. It just it kind of helps to get a group of people together with the role playing games. Tend to turn up if you paid a quid or two. Because probably role playing games, if you don't get a quorum, it's a real problem. And it helps give us a little bit of income for the event as well.
So how as a player let's see, what have we got here? This sounds fun. I'm maybe thinking about Raiders of the Lost Ark. Let's have a look at that. Animal Adventures, Adventurous Dogs. We're going to have a go at that. So we can see over on the side here that maximum attendees are 4. It's going to be Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, and we're going to be using Roll20. Is that a compulsory? Everything has to be run on Roll20?
No, not all. Basically, GMs can run their games how they want to run them. So there's a number of people that are just doing it in a Zoom room. So what will happen is once you buy a ticket for those events, I think the information will be accessible through that. So it'll say, go to this. Here's your Zoom room invite, or here's the Fantasy Grounds server that I'm going to be using, or whatever it might be, and give you the necessary passwords to give access to that. It's very much up to the GMs how they want to run that. So they might go basic and just do it in Discord as audio and nothing else, or they might Zoom room with cameras and things, but they'll share screen to show maps and things, or they might use one of the apps like Fantasy Grounds or Roll20 in order to go a bit more high tech but a bit more immersive, maps and figures moving around the maps and all this sort of thing.
I know I keep saying it, but it is like it's Virtually Expo in that the DM chooses how, like, you could go to a table and have hundreds of minis and amazing printed maps and all kinds of extra stuff, or you could have a wonderfully descriptive theatre of the mind game, and it's all down to the DMs. That kind of stuff.
And again, we've got help stuff under how it works, running role-playing games that gives some hints. So if you check out, I think the reason we put that platform in, even though we haven't yet got the ticket things on there, is it gives people an idea what the environment might be. So if you think, I really fancy that game, but I don't know Roll20, then go and read our help files, and it'll tell you what you have to do to play a game of Roll20, which is pretty easy. It's just jump on the link, I think. So, yeah, that's there.
So yeah, how to play RPGs online. Basic setup, that was I was kind of talking about Zoom and Discord, where you just have wonderful kind of theatre of the mind stuff. Fantasy Grounds, which I'll be honest, I am a little intimidated by Fantasy Grounds, but if you've got a wonderful GM, they make it so much easier. And Roll20, again, all kinds of stuff going on there, but your GMs will make it so much easier for you if you're like me, not a fan of these virtual environments, but dipping your toes in the water for it. And
But
there's
it's the GM's job to make this work. So if you decide you want to have a go at this, probably all you've got to do is get the basic level set up with those. So the free accounts on Fantasy Grounds, or just set an account up on thing and click the link, and then the GMs really should be leading you through the process of how to do stuff when you're in there.
And it's a little bit like we were talking with some of the exhibitors who weren't sure about how Discord and Twitch and stuff. Have a dive in and a play around now.
Yeah,
because most of it, you don't have to subscribe and put credit card details or PayPal logins. You can just have a play and chuck some virtual dice and work out what the commands and stuff are. Is there anything else we want to have a look at? Should we look in?
There's board games for events, isn't there? The only one we haven't touched on.
Yeah.
So the board game. So if you go back up to events, the organised play sort of an overall summary page, but the events one, board games. So these are all being run by Mind Sports Olympiad, who are actually running a whole thing through the whole of August. So all sorts of games every day, pretty much all the way through all of August. And because they are our umpires for our board game tournaments at our normal expo, they're happily incorporating their events that are on that weekend as part of the Virtually Expo as well, but they'll actually be hosted on pretty much on their site. So if you click on any one of those games, it should take you through to a page that'll explain how to
ride. I enjoy a bit of Ticket to Ride. There we go.
So this is obviously a descriptive bit of stuff, and then lower down here are the links, and again there'll be a join button, I think, near the time. But with these ones, I think they're encouraging people to pre-register to some extent by but they can cope with people turning up on the day as well. And what will happen there is that these ones will be run through their Discord channel and probably on Board Game Arena or Tabletopia. I think there's a couple of other platforms they're using, but all of that will be explained to you. So you would just go through to any of those links, and it will tell you what you've got to do to get into the game.
Excellent. So are we still looking for people to submit games, events and things for Virtually
very
Expo?
much so. Yes, I mean we've got now a reasonable number of board games. We've got the role playing schedule starting to fill up, and live events, seminars. But we still, I think there's only actually about one card game down at the moment, one miniatures. But we're happy to have a few others. But these are meant to be tournaments where people would normally be a competitive game that people already know that they can get into and play. It's not supposed to be a learn to play type event. A demo learn to play event should be done through the exhibitors' stands. Yeah, that's how that should really be done. So that these are meant to be ones that people that are already played the game, like Ticket to Ride, can go and play a tournament in it, for example. Yeah.
So I believe Kate has let Tony out of the code cupboard.
All right. Okay.
So we can add him to our chat now. It's going to make everything look a little bit wonky. So I will just go back to looking at the wonderful Virtually Expo page, and bring Tony in.
Typical. Trust him to turn up right at the end when all the work's been done.
Oh.
Right. Hold on.
You're live on Twitch. I feel like I'm Davina.
No, go away, Ken. Silly woman.
Let's work this out so everybody can see you as well. No. Doing this live on Twitch is not at all stressful.
Well, you said you wanted to test it.
I did. Much to my foolishness. Properties.
I find randomly clicking things, well, it doesn't usually fix anything. Usually, oh, there you go. You've tried that.
Yep.
It's my normal way. It's my approach to IT. Just to click things, isn't it?
Yes.
So now I've got to look at the right camera, otherwise I'm going to be looking at my monitors. Let me turn that off, otherwise I'll... So how's it going? It's all good? It's all virtual? It's all good in the hood?
Yeah, we've just been having a look at like the exhibitor hall and how exhibitors are going to put events on, and then the difference between like exhibitor events and things like tournaments and card games and so on. And yeah, it's been nice.
I think the thing with this is going to be, look, with Virtually Expo, we're looking at something that's not been tried at this scale. So we've scaled it quite well. So we can take anywhere from 500 people to 50,000. So we've rehosted all the servers so that they can be dynamically scaled and load balanced. So because we have absolutely no idea what sort of attendance we're going to get, we've got lots of role playing and content that's coming online now and that's being submitted. So I think what we really aim for, isn't it, Richard, is something that is interactive.
Yes.
Rather than just, here's a set of links, click on these, and these are dull and boring, and it's like, surfing the internet, but with no porn. And that's just rubbish. So what we're aiming for here is something that's interactive, that you can connect with other people. That's why we've got Discord channels with a queue. You can just go and chat to people in the queue, and all sorts of things have been programmed into the Discord server to make stuff happen while you're in the queue. So you move up the queue, and when you get to the front of the queue, you get a random thing. So there's all sorts of stuff that's going to be going on. We've got achievements. Have you spoken about the achievements yet, Rich?
We haven't done that bit. We showed them the queue.
All right, man. I'll leave you. One job. That's all you had.
Sorry about that.
We were saving it for you.
I thought that might be the case.
You can tell them about the achievements.
So for the achievements, what we've done, we've also want a bit of interactivity again. So we've got a whole bunch of achievements that are being coded into Virtually Expo. And every time you get an achievement, in your user account page, you get a cool little badge that fills in. Like the Pokédex on Pokemon Go.
Mm-hmm.
So you can collect these badges. Some of them are very simple. So we're going to release very soon, in the next week or so, your ability to go in and say, I'm coming to the show. And if you go into your account, click it, that'll be your first badge. Yeah. But then there are badges for all sorts of things. Some of them, like going and seeing the dark room, you'll get a flamboyant potato badge. If you go click on enough trade stands, you'll get a shopaholic badge. Some of them, you won't know what you get. They're secret, and you'll just fall across them. You'll know they exist because there'll be a blank hole in your card. Yeah, you can also share those badge cards with people you know. You can either put them on public display, so people can come and have a look, or you can send to a friend and say, look, I've got a full card, you're a loser.
Why did you not get the seminars badge? What were you doing? That kind of thing.
Yes, all right, yeah. So you could now pick on people who haven't been to the seminars.
Yes.
Nice. I will be inspecting all the badges after Virtually Expo.
Yeah, and we're adding those all the time. Some of them will just automatically trigger as the software detects that you fulfilled the requirements. Some of them, for instance, like the dark room, if you go to the dark room, John Robinson's given a code. He will issue that code out, and it's active for 15 minutes. You have to nip in from the dark room, go, bang, I'll have my badge. Thank you very kindly.
Kate
Yeah,
is,
but you can't just send a code to everybody, because after 15 minutes, it will deactivate.
Kate has corrected us. It's targeted marketing, not picking on people.
Oh, that seems reasonable. I don't mind what you call it, as long as we can do it.
So
I think this is what's going to be interesting here is nobody's really done a gaming convention at this scale. I know lots of people have done them smaller. I think what you need to understand is we've rewritten the website for traders and exhibitors and for customers. Yeah. So we've not just gone, right, how can we wiggle this into the current website? We've had complete recodes of sections of the website because we want it to be a proper experience, something that's fun, that works. Now, this is like doing the first year of the expo again, isn't it, Rich?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because we're like, right, okay, we're not quite sure how this works, so we're just going to have to do a bunch of stuff and hope it's fun and hope that people that come enjoy it as well and can live with some of the things that don't work as well as we hoped and And it's one of the reasons we're not charging. So the reason we're not charging is because we only like to charge for things we can guarantee we can deliver. So because a lot of this is an experiment in the dark, and we'll be having people like Lawrence from Wotan Games coming on, and that's going to be a varying quality, isn't it? And then we'll have really great people coming.
He is listening, you know.
So it's just going to be a grand experiment. All we can do is ensure that the hardware we've put in place will support however many people turn up. We can encourage as much content. So if there are any RPGMs out there, I encourage you, come and have a go. You don't have to do 5 games, do a couple. And you know,
it's going to be a nice opportunity to try GMing for somebody who isn't your friend. It's going to be a good opportunity to just give it a go. You've got all your books and stuff next to you, so you don't have to worry about bringing them up to Birmingham. And it's a nice opportunity to just see what it would be like GMing for some strangers rather than just your friends. So it's a no pressure.
And the great thing is, on these online platforms, if somebody shouts, you can just turn them down, which is very difficult to do in a room. Somebody's just asked a question. You think you'll do Virtually Expo again?
I guess it depends on how it goes here. I'm very excited.
Well, I think yes and no. I mean, the problem with Virtually Expo is it's quite expensive and doesn't produce income. So if we make a loss on it, which we're projecting at the moment, that's probably what's going to happen, then I'm not entirely enthusiastic about keep running loss-making events. If we can meet together, that's what we want to do. That's what we enjoy doing. That social aspect is key. On the other hand, I think a lot of what we're doing with the websites and stuff at the moment will carry through, and some of those features will be kept in the real event. And of course, if we are still in a position of not being able to run next year, then yes, we may have to run it virtually again.
I mean, I think that's a thing to kind of consider, because we're part of making the trade hall is about supporting the games industry in general, and it is about that event of going and visiting exhibitors and spending some money on their games and keeping the industry kind of churning as it would, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, no, we joined all of this because we love games. You know, that's how this started. And the gaming industry. So I've just been to our local game shops, Phoenix Games in Stourbridge. They're opening Saturday, and we were dropping some awards games off for them to finish judging, which is why I was late back. But you know, these are great guys. They love games, and they're just trying to do their best and make a living. I mean, you know this, Millie. You've run similar ventures yourself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we're all about the industry. We're all about the gamers, because that's what we started and still do it for.
Yeah.
I mean, both Richard and I have thought, there are better ways of making money. So,
definitely.
Almost every way.
But yeah.
So I think you just have to, we just have to keep going. And in this atmosphere and in this climate and in these circumstances, this is what we can do.
So one of the things that came up in chat. Oh, sorry. One of the things that came up in chat is how can someone help the expo? How can folks help or get involved? What's the?
Okay, well, you've got various things. If you can provide some content, that's good. And that may not sound like help, but it is. My son has often asked me, he said, what is it you do for a living, Dad? And when we're running the physical expo, I said, well, what I do is I get this bit of floor at the NEC, and I say to these other guys, would you like to hire this piece of floor? And then I go to these other people and I go, would you like a ticket to look at this piece of floor? And hopefully they buy that. And then in between, what I'm hoping is the person who hired the floor put something cool on it, so I'm in trouble. But that's actually what, as Expo, we do. We're bringing that together. It's we don't produce games. You know, we don't produce the cool stuff. And so for Virtually Expo, it's the same. We're providing the space and the servers and the tech to support it, a portal to bring everybody together, but we still need people to provide cool stuff to do and to show. And that's publishers and designers and sellers of games to come and go, look, here's some cool stuff, demo this. It requires, you know, great GMs who come and run games or demo games, and just great people coming in and just being part of the expo and enjoying it. So if you can provide content, that's really helpful, because if we got lots of people and there's nothing to do, not such a great day. The other thing you could do, we have got some volunteers that will be helping on the day. So we'll be running an integrated chat channel, so that if you ever need some help and you're at the expo, you literally can click on the yellow t-shirt, bang, in you go. And you'll suddenly get you'll get help, and we'll triage you down to our, you know, we've got a small team of 16-year-old children, obviously, to help with Discord, because they know all the buttons do. And I'm like, what does that do? Why does that come off in my hand? So they'll be ready to help people, you know, get Discord running on their computer if they're a bit stuck, or tell them which buttons to click and which ones not to worry about. We'll have people who are just there generally, if they're saying, well, I can't find anything to do, to help and direct people, just like our yellow shirts and our ambassadors do at the show. So I know Simon, if you look at our volunteering on the website, Simon and Andy are doing a great job corralling them together, and we'll have some teams who are doing some social distance help in our offices during the show, and then we'll have people scattered around the country who will log in and help as much as they can. So there's that. Or come along, have a great time, drop something in the donation bucket.
Let me see. I can show you this donation bucket. I think it's already up on the site.
Yes, you can already give us money.
No, I can't. I've killed that with changing some stuff, so no, I can't. But yeah, up on the website, if you think.
Oh my God, show them the donation. It's all gone wrong.
It's all gone horribly wrong. I know. But that's a point we've said a couple of times. This is a time to practice and get used to how to use all these weird technologies before we get to Virtually Expo, and practice.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a trader out there and you're worried, look, you know, I want to do something, but I don't know how, start simple. Yeah, do a Zoom channel. Because actually, what a lot of people come into the show, and you know this, you're stood on your stand when you're at the show, and up comes the next nerd, and they're like, well, when you published version 17.37 of your game, I thought the red on the back of the counter was a bit out. And because you're a bigger nerd than them, you'll then spend the next 30 minutes discussing why you picked that particular shade of red. But you've made their day. They're happy. If they're happy, I'm happy. I mean, that's what you want. And so actually just being able to talk to people, you don't have to deliver the moon on a stick. Yeah. Some interaction, some chat, some discussion, you know, having a laugh, that kind of thing is enough for people to go away and go, I enjoyed that. I got to chat with the designer about this. I got to ask that question. I met somebody in the queue. So you don't have to do full Twitch OBS thing, button, Twitch overlay, do that. You don't need to do all that. Yeah, put up a Zoom, put up a Discord, just do it now. Do it with a friend and go, right, I've got this working. So on the day we can run it. And if you can only get 10 people in at once, fine, have 10 people in at once.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, we're all learning this together.
You know, they're speculating on the right shade of red now in the chat window.
I think that's because Bez is quite partial to red. So I think we've covered almost everything we can at the minute. Is there any secret scoops we haven't covered?
Yes.
Can we cover them today?
No, they're secret. You just asked that.
Oh, okay.
There is some other stuff coming. There is.
Yep.
We've got stuff in the pipeline. We've got, possible freebie giveaways that we can give away on the internet. We've got, other events that will come up. There's stuff that will come up that we don't know about yet and is being put together. So there's an awful lot of stuff moving for these next 5-6 weeks. We're going to find a lot of people piling in with great ideas, and we'll look to facilitate those. Our attitude is, let's not say no or can't do it. Let's say, right, what's the best way we can make this happen? And if it can't happen, well, it can't happen. But it won't be because we don't want to know. It will be because it's not possible to do it. So those ideas come in. We will try and facilitate them. We'll try and make them work. So that the key is sign up for the newsletter. Start posting out if you're an exhibitor that you're going to be at the Virtual Expo. So we want to get some momentum going, so that weekend is a great weekend.
Yep.